Hello, my name is Barry Carpini, and I feel I'm qualified to critique music because I hate and love many kinds of music, and I've been in too many bands.
You can't decide what brings about the pain. You only know that you just don't feel right. I wish I could help you rekindle the flame, but in my mind I'm not the same. No.
As a kid growing up, it didn't mean shit because I didn't really have music besides Saturday cleaning days where my mom played 80s music all day long. And literally, I couldn't name a single song. It's only when I hear them it brings back the nostalgia. I loved music, but I just didn't get enough of it as a kid. I probably wasn't exposed more or less because my dad listens to the Doors now, and I'm pretty sure he didn't want me getting into the Doors when he was a kid. And I don't even know if it's just the Doors. I know he likes a lot of different music. Nowadays, he listens to music all the time. It's kind of annoying thinking back to my childhood and not recalling any of these songs. Well, he was a Submariner, so he always liked singing his version of Yellow Submarine, and that was horrific. My lead into the Beatles was terrible.
It's a good way to not like them.
Well, actually, when I was probably in my preteen years, my brother and all his friends were into like rap, which like was NWA and Kool Moe Dee, and I don't even think it was Vanilla Ice. I think they hated that. But like MC Shy D and a lot of those bands, rap groups, and so I got my share of that, and that's what I really like listening to. Like Everlast before he was a guitarist.
Do you House of Pain?
No, it was just Everlast, and Ice-T was the one who actually started him out. But my favorite song is called "Fuck Everybody," but nobody remembers that until I play it on YouTube. I'd have to say one of my buddies, Daniel, kind of introduced me to a band called Pearl Jam, and as cheesy as it sounds, that kind of turned the tide, from me listening to raps and then going to like actual music such as Pearl Jam, and then from there it just kind of kept going. And Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and
The whole grunge era.
Nirvana.
Sure you were. How did the grunge era music scene affect you? I mean, was it just different because it was different, or because it was something that you really dug? Because
it was just music that I could kind of, you take a song and you could make it your own, and it could mean something in your life rather than something in theirs, And that's what I really liked, but I didn't know even how to play music at the time. And actually, my amazing stepmom told me one time when I was singing to one of their songs, one of those bands, she said, you have a terrible voice. And that means you're never going to have a good voice. And I just was like,
hey, thanks for that. Thanks for that.
I tried to soak up everything I could. I mean, I tried to because I was in a ska punk band I was in a lot of different ska punk bands, but I was in a ska punk band, for example, when I first really started playing music. And basically, my favorite band at the time was Bad Religion, so it was really awkward playing ska punk,
And being into Bad Religion?
Yeah, it was like, all right, well, okay, I have to just differentiate the two. I really enjoy, not, just them, but I really enjoy this section of music, but I'm writing this section, and I like ska punk too, but it was just kind of, all right, well, I'm writing this, and I enjoy this kind of thing, but I kind of tried to incorporate it, but, as a kid at 15, 16, it just was verse, chorus, verse. I could play the bass guitar, but I for the life of me, it was hard as hell for me to just write something because all I could see is scales. And when I did that, it killed me. So what I would do is I would try and make it up in my head, a melody, and just try and figure it out on the bass, which really is really hard when you feel like you're tone deaf trying to figure it out. You kind of go
when you can't sing, right?
Yeah, now the new wave of phones where you can actually record it onto your phone and just figure it out. It's a lot easier than it was back then. It really amazes me sometimes when I hear like a song that just sounds so awesome, but then when you break it down, you realize, that's the easiest riff I would never think to do that because it's just so simple. What the hell? But that's the beauty of music, is sometimes simple is perfect, and sometimes the little extra, bells and whistles is just enough. Is actually even better. But that's part of music. I always kind of liken it to like you put all the, I forget who told me this, but when you're writing a song, you start with a skeleton, you put the meat on it, the fat on it, you know, the beard on it, the hair, and then after a while, once you get it like fully just completely dressed, then you realize, all right, now I have to strip away the fat because that's just garbage, that's not doing anything, and then you try and just get down to the meat of the song, and I don't know, that's how I've always tried to do it. I don't know if I did a very good job because my foundation is in a different, I mean, I guess you can't say that my foundation is there because I listened, like I said, gangster rap when I was a kid, but I really fell away from that because I really enjoyed it, but there was a lot of good stuff I thought to it, and that's the thing is like nowadays when I hear music, even like kind of sound a little bit similar to the songs of the past, I just feel like the thing I hate most about music is the watered down version of everything, you know, like when we were kids and we played in ska punk bands, it was really fun, and then everyone started playing ska punk, and then you just heard like the worst music ever because everyone's just jumping on a bandwagon.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of lose your motivation. I mean, you know, I don't think we lost our motivation. I just think we kind of grew up. But I don't know, like I like listening to it now, but you have to like search really hard to find like a decent band. Yeah, I mean, you know, you listen to the bands that got you into it, and you just, and that was after a while. It was basically just listen to those bands over and over. 10 years later, you listen to the same band, same album. Because either A, they wrote the same album over and over for like 10 years, or B, these crappy bands came up and you're just like, oh, there's nothing good. You know, my friends in my band now, they ask me, oh, what do you listen to? And I tell them what I listen to. And I say, all right, I listen to this. And they go, oh, you've been listening to that for years. I go, yeah, but I can't really find another band that kind of tries to push the boundaries, you know what I mean? It just seems like everyone else is just staying at the status quo, you know?
Yeah.
Not to bag any bands, but you know, it's an acronym band, and they just do the same thing, and they can, and they will. One of my hopes is like, I don't know, like if you can create a different sound or anything like that, but I really like bands that are eclectic and try to push the boundaries. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I guess someone's gonna come up somewhere with a different style of music altogether, and it's gonna be the next big thing and craze, you know, but. I mean, I don't know. I more or less look for a band to just kind of like mesh something together. Not even really mesh it together, but just like create a whole different like kind of, you know, eclectic something. You know what I mean? And like that's kind of been my goal for a while. But I don't know. I don't really have any hope for it. I mean, I have hope for it. I wish that somebody would do that, and I'd like to be a part of something like that. But it's like everyone just wants to kind of like, you know. They just want to go the same route everyone's going. Like nobody wants to like push it to another level. And if they do, it's just so out there. Like the bands that try to like push it, they basically push it so far you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like the people that are trying to pioneer it, they're going way too far this way, which is fine. I mean, that's more power to them. But it's just sometimes you're just like, oh, you kind of got me lost. All right, cool. I like that, but I like where you're going, but I'm not sure where you're at. I just would like to hear someone try to push the boundaries. And who the hell ever succeeds at the first try anyways? You know, you'll be the band that gets remembered for being a part of it. You know what I mean? Being the like pioneer. But then someone else will come along and perfect what you started. You know, and that's kind of what people are afraid of. They're always afraid of pushing the boundaries. Oh, we're not going to be popular. Well, you know, actually, you know, if you just keep going, who cares about that anyways? Like, just play music because you like playing it, you know? Yeah. For whatever genre it is, you know, I don't know, I feel like I can sense the diluted bands as opposed to, like, the bands that are really, really there. And that's the one thing I can't stand is when, I mean, I guess maybe I'm not always right, and, you know, I could be wrong, but sometimes when I hear a band, I'm just like, oh, you're going for the gold. You know, you're not, you're just, you know, and that's the one thing I always fear is like being a part of something like that, you know.